He's resumed. No, still not. He's got nothing, or he's not. It looked like he started to resume and then decided to get some comsat. I think he tried to go. He's going for a really big attack right now. He cut SCV production for about 2 rounds of SCVs to get some extra vultures out, and you can see how that advantage manifests itself. There's a lot of there's a lot of vultures out for Forgg, and they've got a nice arc around C's forces. But those 2 siege tanks can be very powerful. And MBC is pretty happy with how C was able to fend that off. Very good not getting his tanks pulled off, and that was a little bit of a ploy for Forgg. Probably like he harassed himself about 4 SCVs to get that attack off. And yeah, he has resumed production now, so it wasn't an all-in type thing, but it was a very interesting ploy that unfortunately didn't work out at all, and losing even more vultures. So not only did Forgg voluntarily give himself some economic harassment, do some economic damage to himself, but now he's behind in military forces as well. C is just pretty much ahead in every aspect right now, and going for a third base earlier than Forgg.
Yeah, C's micro has just been spot on. You saw 4GG come in and try and place mines that could take down those tanks, try and even it up. Say both players have lost a couple of tanks, but C was all over it and was picking off those mines left and right. Brilliant, very, very well done there by C. And then picking off some more vultures for 4GG as 4GG was a little bit careless. We also saw 3 machine shops for 4GG, so he spammed vultures for a long time, and then he realized, you know what, I need to get some tanks out. So very smart play by him to throw down 3 machine shops. I mean, I don't know if he really needed 3, but definitely getting at least 2 was a good idea because he really needed to catch up on tank count. Both players do have a lot of vultures, but we do at least have a few tanks out from C, whereas for a little while there, once he lost his initial 2, 4GG had none. So he needed to catch up on a little bit of his tank number. So that's why we saw that going down there. And we do have the third base for C is just about complete, and for what's his face? For 4GG it should be started, but C is going to put on some pressure. Going to kick off another tank. We got a couple Goliaths out here as well. Kind of an interesting choice there when he's got so much, when he doesn't really necessarily have the have a worry of dropships or rates yet. I'm kind of surprised that he actually even bothered to get Goliaths, just because the vulture mobility has just already been shown on this game that it matters so much. You're at cross positions, you have a lot of map to cover. Vultures are really what you want for most of this game until you get significantly later. I don't think you really want to be spending your money on Goliaths unless you have a reason to, unless you see dropships or raids. It does look like 4G is going to be able to pick off a tank here, which would be nice if he. What is he? Okay, that's a micro fail by 4GG. That tank should have died. So a little bit of an error there from 4GG, and that tank gets to live.
Yeah, I think that 4GG is actually being just a bit too careful. And well, actually, we're gonna see oh, I was thinking it was gonna be 2 star parts for some reason, but 4GG is just being extra careful here because he probably feels the pressure coming from C. C's been doing well throughout the entire game. C is already getting his science facility up, and 4GG, I don't think 4GG's. Well, both players in terms of bases are really similar. In amount of tank count, I think 4GG actually has more tanks than C. But those mines that C established outside of 4GG's base are actually doing an awesome job at denying 4GG's movement towards the middle of the map. So right now, C, even though C has last thing, oh, 4GG spots the difference in tank count. He's actually gonna move out and try and kill those tanks. Those tanks are gonna be easily cleaned up. Wow, the tank superiority is just immense, really. Maybe I think 4GG has maybe 2 times as many tanks as C does. And C's just not trying to reinforce, but C has to keep that contained, that lock going. Otherwise, 4G could definitely try and attempt a push at his third, I suppose. That would be, I believe that would be viable. But still, C's been doing a good job so far at keeping 4G. He's always 4G is actually gonna move out here, gonna try and clean this up. But oh, he's gonna be extremely successful at doing so. But it all depends on the minds of C. Oh, huge mine! Whoa! Huge mine on top of 4GG's forces. Oh my god. So C lost that little lock he had on top of 4GG, but 4GG lost most of his army due to that mine. So wow. So the game is beginning to even up now. I really want to see a late game TVT, and this seems to be the case. It seems to be moving towards that stage.
I don't think I've ever seen like a 3 tank mine like that. That was really, really impressive for me. So for Gigi had a lot of tanks, but he had like nothing except tanks, and C made a really good ploy to run in with a bunch of vultures and lay a lot of mines at once, and actually take out some tanks. And oh, it looks like meanwhile Forgg is running in with a bunch of vultures and gonna take out 2 tanks of C's, and he might do some harassment at the 6 o'clock. Or is there even a base at the 6 o'clock? I thought no, there's not. There's just Forgg thought there would be, but it looks like he's just setting up. He set up a turret and a couple of tanks, but no base there. C's actually got a base at the 3 o'clock, and a base that I think as of yet has remained undiscovered at the top right. So as long as Forgg doesn't scout that, C's going to be up a base and in great position. I really can't say whether or not Forgg has scouted it, but considering that he's sent nothing up that way, he probably has not. So it's just been established, but that advantage is going to manifest itself for C. And Forgg, even though in addition to him, mine going off, oh man, all 3 of those tanks go down. A mine gets them down to like very little health, because it pretty much kills them.
In a huge fight. Look at all these tank lines coming out here. Both players just starting to spam their tanks. Now we see a couple Goliaths coming out for C as well, just in case dropship starts appearing. We do have a couple dropships from C, so we could be seeing a transition to that traditional TVT that we know so well. And the first dropship is out for Forgg as well. It looks like a 4th base may be set up now. Yes, a 4th base is going to be set up there at the 9 o'clock position. But this has got to be, what, 2-3 minutes later than C's? Like, that is a pretty huge difference. And that's going to be the key to this game. I think this game is already very close to over because C is already reaping the benefits of that top right base, or as you like to say, Varosh, his economic advantage is manifesting itself. I love that word. I love the fact that you use it. It's pretty sweet. Never thought to use it in StarCraft before. That's pretty awesome. And he's throwing up a 5th base as well. So he's throwing up some tanks there at the top right to help defend. So C is just playing this absolutely correctly. He's won a few initial battles, so he's just going to turn it into a huge macro lead and just dominate Forgg late game. And Forgg is not doing what he needs to do. He's not producing enough vultures. We saw those 3 machine shops, so he converted to heavy tank play. And unfortunately, what he needed right at that moment was he needed more vultures so that way he could harass all of these bases. But he is at least going to get some military victories out here in the middle of